All right, kids, welcome into another bonus hour of Happy Hour. We are doing this throughout this entire month. We will have Duck Insider back on August 1st, so if you are craving some breakdown of your Oregon Ducks, I didn't talk to Dusty today. He's supposed to be joining us. So no big deal. If he comes running in, we will get on that. Maybe we'll have him jump in tomorrow, but I was working on some other things. I talked to Dusty today. Totally slipped my mind. Maybe he's listening right now. He'll come running in and jump on the air. I am not too worried about it because I've got plenty of things to talk about. But August 1st, you'll have Duck Insider back. Joey Mack and the crew will get you all ready for college football, college sports, get all of your enthusiasm for your hometown team. So you will be all set with that. But right now, you get bonus hours all the way up until the end of the month. Casey, back-to-back solo shows. How you feeling right now? You feeling good?
I'm feeling great.
All right.
I'm feeling good.
Okay. Well, you know what? One of the things that is coming up that I thought I wanted to talk about, I figured, hey, let's do a breakdown of this. And I kind of heard you and Patrick Harris going through this already, so probably better that you and I aren't going to do the breakdown again. I find myself less and less interested in two conversations around sports. One is the Hall of Fame. I could care less about who gets in, who doesn't, who's first ballot, who's not. I know who was great, who I enjoyed watching. A lot of guys you enjoy watching that aren't Hall of Famers. Jay Buhner was one of my favorite players growing up. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer ever? Don't know, don't care.
Yeah, my favorite player of all time, the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah, so it's there's hundreds of guys that you can go through that you really, really liked, you enjoyed their career, and you can make your own personal Hall of Fame or your own Mount Rushmore, or you can just be like, man, I really loved watching that guy play, and you can hang on to those. The other one that I don't really care about, I could care less about the All-Star game. The game, I might even watch it, but the game doesn't matter. It's an exhibition. Whoever goes and hits in the home run derby, put on a show. Whoever goes out there and plays in the game, try your hardest and do whatever you can. The reason that I have this thought is Jacob Misiorowski, Paul Skeens, out. They're voted in, but they're like, yeah, we're going to rest. I think there was another guy that was upset. Then you go through, or that opted out, but I can't remember who it is right now.
Vladdy Guerrero.
There was another National League pitcher. Doesn't matter. Again, Vladdy getting in. Oh, no. We talked about this either earlier this week or last week. Canada's going to swamp the ballot box and get their guys in. They went to the World Series last year. I know it's a first half of the year award, but
and as much as I want to hate on Ernie Clement, he's got the numbers to be in.
Yeah, he does. But also there is a popularity contest element to all of this because you have fan voting, you have all of that. And I get that Canada has one team, so everybody tends to lean with the Blue Jays, whatever. Guys complaining because they got snubbed? I hope so. If you think you've been playing great and you think you've put up a fight and you're going to be pissed off for the rest of the year because you got snubbed, I'm okay with that too.
Again, we went over that yesterday with the Zach Wheeler incident.
Well, Zach Wheeler, real mad about it, the whole thing. But there's plenty of guys that feel like they should do it. You have Verlander going in as a legend. He announced that this will be his final season, so he'll wrap things up this year with the Tigers and move on, but he gets an honorary selection into the All-Star game. Cool. It's an exhibition. I don't care. Like, if you want to be there and you're not, sorry. If you want to be there because you get a nice little bonus on your paycheck, I get that too.
What was the score of last year's All-Star game?
No idea.
Exactly.
You can ask me a million questions about the All-Star game, and I couldn't tell you.
Again, we care about the All-Star game for the fanfare of it all, not necessarily the product that they keep putting out there.
And maybe this is sour grapes because the Mariners only have one All-Star this year, but there have been plenty of years where we had one All-Star. So that really doesn't bother me either. I wouldn't tune in. If there was 6 Mariners, I wouldn't tune in anymore. I wouldn't. If I'm available on Tuesday night and I have nothing else to watch, and the All-Star game pops on, I won't be upset about it, but I'm certainly not going to seek it out. It is an exhibition game. I want my players to be mad if they don't make it. They can be frustrated with their performance. They can be frustrated with the voting. They can be upset with the fans. Good. You should be. It should be personal to them. But I'm also not going to hear and be like, you can't have a grievance. Look at your numbers. Or this guy's better than you. Like, Cole Young has been great this year. To have him as an all-star would be awesome. To have him play well in August, September, and October would be 100 times better. So none of this to me really is worth the time and energy. And maybe it's the steroid era where those guys are probably not going to get in. Are you going to really tell me that you, and not you personally, because I know that you were a fetus or a zygote or whatever you were at the time, but watching the home run race between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire was one of my favorite baseball moments as a kid. They would interrupt a regularly scheduled program across the ESPN family of networks to show you that bat. They did the same thing with Barry Bonds. Roger Clemens had how many 20 strikeout games and was an absolute beast and pitched for 20 years? Not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that means he wasn't good. No, it doesn't. It means that they have created all these rules, all these, hoops you have to jump through to make sure that you fit in with the way that it's all set up. Maybe I'm not phrasing that right. My brain is just kind of running here. I'm trying to log into the computer and do a couple things at the same time. Taking steroids, is it detrimental to the game? You could say that it is. A lot of people tuned in during that era. A lot of people. And getting it out of the game, in the long run, probably pretty good. But you've got guys that have differences in height and strength and all of that anyways. Does it even the playing field? If a guy like Aaron Judge was taking steroids, would he hit more home runs? Or does a guy like Brett Boone allowed to take steroids and a guy like Aaron Judge isn't? Your tiny guys can take it, your big guys can. It's not an even playing field to begin with. So whatever they do. The one thing that I've always thought in my head about the steroid era is how many guys were using steroids just to hang out in the big leagues, just to stay there.
I think you see that in sports more now than you do back then, where you have guys that will take the 80-game, the 90-game suspension or however long they're suspended for, but it's going to give them 4 more years and 5 more years of longevity in the league.
And how many of those guys were middle relievers, and how many of those guys had home runs hit off of them by Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and Ken Caminiti, and take your pick of all those guys that were doing it. So was it unfair for the top guys to be taking steroids? You could say that it was, but there's no way that I believe that they were the only guys doing it. Now, there are some guys that decided not to do it, and good for them. And you can go back and look through all the guys that have been voted in that have been either decided publicly that they're clean or have proven that they're clean, and good for them. But everybody's got a choice to make. It's an entertainment product. These are exhibition games. What's really cool about this year's All-Star Game? 26 first-time All-Stars. For those guys, for their families, for the weekend that it is, because that's one of the fun things about watching, especially the home run derby. You get the families down on the field. Cal Raleigh winning the home run derby was really cool last year because his brother is catching, his dad is pitching. Mariner or not, that's a very cool moment. And having guys come down to the wire. This kid for the Royals that just announced he's going to be in the home run derby, Caglione. Jacques Caglione is in the 98th percentile for hard hit balls and the 97th percentile for contact rate or whatever it is. Is he a household name? No. Is he what?
I'd argue he's a household name.
Well, here's why I will argue that it's not. Dirt and Sprague had no idea who he was. So you follow baseball closely. Is he a household name? I would argue, and he also plays for the Royals. But you go out there.
But they'd probably be able to name Vinny Pasquantino, but wouldn't be able to name.
Sure. Vinny Pasquantino also had one hell of a World Baseball Classic, and he's got a great nickname, Pasquatch, and he signed a contract for $4.20 million and $6.9 million, which is hilarious. Pasquantino's marketing team is doing just fine. Who's the kid on the Royals that just had 12 straight hits?
Something starts with a T. Tyler something.
I think it's Tolbert.
Tyler Tolbert. Thank you.
But it's the Royals are not the team that's drawing in a national audience. It's funny because if you ask me a lineup, I've never been a Yankees fan. I will never be a Yankees fan. But if you want to go through the entire 1997 to 99 roster, I can name almost every guy on that team because they were constantly on. They were great. When your team played them, you paid more attention. They went to a lot of World Series, so you end up watching them in the Fall Classic, and you get all of that. Should every one of those guys be a Hall of Famer because everybody knows who are? They're famous. If it's a Hall of Fame, If it's a hall of greatness, that's a different thing. If it's a hall of great players, if it's a hall of great people, whatever it is. I don't care who's in. I wish I cared. NBA All-Star Game, Denny Advia makes it. Awesome. Yeah. Good for him. Good for him. That's what I say. For all these guys that made it, good for him. And if you're mad that you didn't make it, good for you. You should be. I think you're great too.
I just think it's just a how do we honor the players who are having good seasons early?
Yeah, well, and again, having it in the middle of the year, a guy that had a great back half of last year doesn't get any reward for that. It's funny because having a great full season gets you awards.
I just think in any other job, non-athlete, in any other job, every 6 months, every quarter, you do something that
it's a celebration.
You celebrate your hard work.
Yeah,
you only do it one time in sports.
Well, you do the postseason awards. The Fall Classic and the run up to it, you have all of the individual awards from the regular season are slowly leaked out going into it, and then you make it about the two teams that made it there. And that's probably the way it should be, because you want to celebrate the champion. But leaking out the manager of the year and the MVP and the your Golden Gloves or whatever it is. And the NFL does the same thing. Their NFL honors go right up to the Super Bowl. So they do something like that. Baseball's the only one to me that makes a ton of sense to have it in the middle of the year. I guess basketball too. It gives them a break. They're long seasons. The NFL, that Pro Bowl can go away anytime. Thanks, I appreciate it. But baseball, because it's such a long season, NBA, NHL, having a little stop down and go, let's give everybody a rest. If you want to play in this game and go out and just celebrate, the success you're having, hang out. And I imagine it's, all these guys know each other at some point, or certainly there's connections that you've had over the years, and to see, somebody that you came up with make their first All-Star game, put your arm around your buddy and go smack some dingers. It's all great. It's all great. But if you want me to break it down, I just, not for me, but 26 first-time All-Stars. What that speaks to is what were you and I talking about? There's so many emerging talents in baseball.
Will superstars on the way?
Well, will they all become superstars? Not necessarily. I mean, who knows? I mean, Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs last year. This year he is... So take a look at, guys that have had one great season in Major League Baseball and then disappeared. I'm sure there's as many of those as are songs that are one-hit wonders that came out and they're huge, and you can make that whole list if you wanted to. But celebrate the great year you're having. Go out there and have it. But if you have 26 new guys, let's say half of those turn into stars in this league, legitimate superstars. You got 13 new superstars coming up. Fantastic. And there's plenty of young players that are out there. So what I look at this is, for the health of the game, super cool. Super cool. I know we're done with the World Cup. I didn't think we'd be diving 2 feet in to Wimbledon.
Oh, yeah.
You know what story I'm talking about?
Hit me with it.
Did you guys talk about this?
No, not yet.
There's a pretty cool story coming out of Wimbledon on the men's side. We will take a look at that next. You're listening to Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
During yesterday's show, Casey and I both watched the end of the Novak Djokovic match that he had. I didn't realize that we were in the 5th hour of that match when we were watching it, but I did kind of look into it a little bit after. That was exhausted dudes playing tennis and playing really long volleys at the end. It was a ton of fun to watch, and just a reminder how much fun tennis can be when you watch it at the upper echelon of talent, and when you have guys evenly matched, it's a ton of fun to watch. I'm no expert, and I don't know much about it. For whatever reason, though, Wimbledon stories were hitting my research this morning as I was getting ready for today's show. And here's a story that I did not know about. There's a young man named Arthur Ferry. Have you ever heard of Arthur Ferry?
I have.
Okay, what do you know about Arthur Ferry?
He is in a semifinal match slated to play, I believe it's Friday, against Alexander Zverev.
And what do you know about his background?
Nothing.
Okay, do you know why?
Hit me with it.
There's nothing to tell. He has never been in the top 100 players in men's tennis ever. He's actually a wild card entrant into this tournament. He is now sitting as one of the final 4 tennis players getting ready to compete for the championship at Wimbledon. When you started the field, there's 128 guys. The most remarkable thing about this guy, he was the 5th shortest. He's 5'9". He is a tennis pro, and he grew up in the shadows of Wimbledon.
He's 5'9"?
He's 5'9", grew up in the neighborhood, has never been a top 100 player.
I'm more shocked. How fast does he serve at 5'9"?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about this guy. Nobody knows anything about him, especially the guys that he's playing. He just beat the 9th-ranked player in the world to get into the Wimbledon semifinals.
Again, usually the taller the player, the faster the serve. Again, we looked up the record for the serve. The fastest server was it 153, was it?
I think it was 153, and by a guy that is 6'8". But it's not all about the serve, right? It's a game of finding the other team of the other guy's weakness, and if you can't serve, you have to move, and if you can't move, you have to. And if you can do both, then there's a big advantage for you. But this guy is set to be one of the final 4, or he already is, but set to play in one of the final 2 matches to see who goes to play on for the championship. Right? Here's the thing: is what are the chances that actually happens? It happened in 2001. So if you go back through the history of Wimbledon, this would not be the first time that somebody that has never been ranked in the top 100 has won the tournament. Goran Ivanisevic won it in 2001. And so here is a guy that grew up. How cool of a story would this be? And how little will people care about it because England is playing on Saturday in a World Cup match?
How cool will it be if he's going up against
Djokovic?
Supposedly the greatest tennis player of all time,
who's just finished a 5-hour match. Whoever's playing him needs to run his legs tired.
Former defending champion Jannik Sinner.
There he. Oh, so Sinner is a tougher draw. Who did you say Ferry has in this?
Alexander Zverev.
Are we worried about Zverev as much as Sinner or Djokovic?
Jannik Sinner is the defending champion.
Well, and you have Sinner and Djokovic going up against each other, so whoever wins, you expect it to be a tougher match.
Yeah, it's a buzzsaw.
Do I expect any of this to happen? No, but it's real Cinderella stories in sports are rare and few and far between, and this very much feels like one. So, if you are fully hooked on the World Cup, I get that. One thing that you can watch out for this weekend is watch a little Wimbledon tennis.
And if you want to keep your nationalism alive like me,
Coco Gauff.
Tomorrow at 5:30 a.m.
So we are in the round of 8 for the World Cup. We have the Final 4 for Wimbledon, and you have Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend.
It's a good little slate of sports for you.
I mean, the obviously the All-Star Weekend runs into Monday and Tuesday when you have the Home Run Derby and the game, but this is you've got a little something brewing here. So, what are the matchups for the World Cup? Are we all set for the round of 8, or do we have a game? There's no games today,
set.
So we're all set. So we
have France versus Morocco will lead us off.
Let's go Morocco.
Then Spain versus Belgium. Norway versus England, and wrapping up the quarterfinal matches, Argentina versus Switzerland.
Okay, that's one I'm least. You got Argentina in there, so
I think the one I'm least excited for is Spain-Belgium.
Spain-Belgium, but Spain's a 2-seed in this whole
Spain's
thing.
been good,
and they got my guy with the floppy hair. I liked him.
Kukorakis.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Floppy hair. We'll just call him that. And then you've got Norway, England. That should be a great matchup. I think there's a lot of people that just, I don't know, de facto root for England, but let's go. Norway, yes. Norway has become the darlings of this tournament, right? They're the Cinderella story in this tournament 100%. So far. Okay.
I'd say Switzerland might be the Cinderella, but if they can, they've got Argentina. Yeah. So that's messy.
Yeah.
That Argentina team has played with their food a little bit in the past few matches.
Yeah, but they're also old. I just assume that because I know Messi's old.
It's Lionel Messi.
Yeah, well, he is, but it's almost 40-year-old Lionel Messi, and I know that he missed a PK. Did you see that? What's his name? Zlatan talking trash to Alexi Lawless?
Oh yeah, I think it's very known that they do not like each other.
Yeah, pretty obvious, but yeah, apparently Alexi Lawless. So if you missed this, dear listeners, the controversy started. Alexi Lawless made a comment about how Messi can't afford to miss the penalty kick that he had, I think, in the first half. So this would have been a halftime analysis. Zlatan goes, everybody misses penalty kicks. I've missed them. Turns to the other guy on the panel and goes, he's missed them.
Thierry Henry.
Thank you. And then it goes, the only reason you haven't missed them is because you were never selected to take penalty kicks. Burn.
That's Zlatan.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. I kind of like that. Do we like Alexi Lawless? Was he as good as we think he was, or was he just floppy hair guy?
I think he's pretty good. I don't want to diss on Alexi Lawless by any means because he's.
Why not? Go the Zlatan route.
I am a Zlatan guy, so I'll go with Zlatan.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well,
we don't like Alexi Lawless if he's talking bad about Zlatan. As long as
he's talking trash about Messi.
As long as the king speaks, we listen to Zlatan.
Zlatan Swiss?
Yeah, Swedish.
Okay, Swedish.
Swedish,
not Swiss.
Yeah.
Put Sweden, not Switzerland.
I heard the SW and just said yes.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this, but I do appreciate the trash talk. Was Alexi Lawless a defender though, who you would not expect to make PKs, or am I wrong about that? See, that's the other thing. You get a guy that isn't an attacker or a midfielder. What did he play? We should know all of this stuff, but let's be honest. There's no way to get around.
He was a defender, specifically a center back.
See, oh, good. Thank you for the clarification, so that I would know exactly.
The guy in the middle on the defensive side.
I could have figured that out. The center back, but a defender is not a guy that you're expecting to take PKs.
No.
Here's my problem, Alexi Lawless. If somebody's talking trash to you, where's your rebut? Get back in there. Get back in there. And now you've got controversy.
Alexi Lawless is just kind of getting torn apart in this World Cup because the Zlatan fans are really coming to fight for their king.
Yeah, well, did Sweden ever win with Zlatan?
I don't believe so.
Okay, well then it's some king.
I think they only went
twice. King that he turned out to be. All right, so we'll set this up for you kids. So what we did yesterday, a couple days ago, ESPN put out their list of 1 through 32 NFL teams. You've got a ranking based on their starting 22. So they went through their entire roster and said, these are the best rosters. Rams are the best. Dolphins are the worst. We noticed a little interesting thing about the bottom 6 teams all have brand new coaches. Not terribly surprising. Raiders went out and tried to upgrade their roster, and some people made some moves, but obviously the ESPN writers not impressed with that. So yesterday what we did was we took it and we went through that same list of teams based on where they sit in that, tried to decide which of these new head coaches has the best chance to do something. You, young man, took it a step further. So yesterday after the show, Casey sent me his list of coaches he expects to be on the hot seat. 503-864-6326 is the fan text line. We're going to go through Casey's list of coaches he expects to be on the hot seat, and we will do that next. Let us know what you think of his list, and if there's anybody else that you would add to it as we go through, feel free to get ahead of that. But first, we'll walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and check in with an update.
First on the fan, Justin Bieber is to join the halftime World Cup show. Well, Justin Bieber will bring his swag, as ESPN reports, to the World Cup star-studded Super Bowl-style halftime show. He will join fellow headliners Madonna, Shakira, BTS, Afrobeat star Burna Boy, Venezuelan conductor Gustavo Dudamel, and the PS22 Chorus, a choir of elementary school students based out of Staten Island.
Okay.
It will also have one final performance from Coldplay. The whole thing is being put on by Coldplay's lead singer Chris Martin. It'll be an 11-minute halftime performance.
I was going to ask if they were going to make it longer. That seems like a lot to cram into just a few minutes, because I do not expect FIFA to extend the halftime. You get plenty of complaints about the Super Bowl halftime. They're going to get that all crammed into 11 minutes with, 2 minutes of setup, 2 minutes of takedown?
Yep, it said the show will take place during the final outside New York on July 19th. The show will support the FIFA Global Citizen Education Fund, which is raising $100 million to help children access education and soccer.
So this is outside of the stadium, so you won't need to be in the World Cup match to get this. So that's pretty good. Just go grab your HR professional and take her to the show. Have a good time.
This year's World Cup halftime performance will also feature some of the Muppets. Kermit and Miss Piggy might make an appearance.
Is Animal going to be there? Let's be honest. If there's one Muppet that's going to rock out, it's Animal. That's the guy I want to see. What is the guy's name? Dr. Teeth and the Electric something. Am I close on that? We'll look it up. We'll get it for you kids. We don't need it right now.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks.
All right, so we're going through the NFL. Looking at rosters got us to looking at coaches, and yesterday we looked at all the new coaches. 10 new coaches in new places. A pretty good chunk of those guys are first-time head coaches, which to me is one of those dangerous things to play with. Starting with the Bills and Ravens, who are two teams that are listed with the better rosters in the NFL, and then looking down at the bottom of the roster construction, Clint Kubiak with the Raiders, Mike LaFleur with the Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns with Todd Monken and Jeff Hafley, which just doesn't sound like Todd Monken and Jeff Hafley do not sound like head coach names that you want to get with. I mean, LaFleur, there's already a guy that's being successful out there. Kubiak, you've seen Kubiak be successful. But really, Monken and Hafley, and you have the worst two rosters in football? Good luck. I mean, Malik Willis might be the guy. Not so confident in Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders to take you to the promised land.
What's the average age of defensive linemen in the NFL?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
It'd be over the age of 30.
Is it?
The average age
of defensive linemen in the NFL is over 30?
Let me triple check, but I want to say that the prime age of defensive linemen
might be the prime age, but
between 30 and 33.
I don't know. I mean, one of the guys that I look at, Calais Campbell, in the year that he had last year, I think he was 39. He's going to play at 40 this year for Baltimore.
But what was Calais Campbell's peak of his career?
He was pretty good last year. I mean, I know that it's not his peak, but there is a benefit to experience on the defensive line. I think we overlook where you look at that prime spot for these guys.
I also just think it's a man's game, and a 340-pound 6'7" D lineman at the age of 30 is different than a right tackle who's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Fresh out of college.
Well, there's man strength that's on there, but there's also a freakish strength that you have to play defensive line anyways. It's so much reactionary where you're gonna have to go out and just chuck guys around. You brought that up to say something about the Dolphins. What do the Dolphins have? Infants?
The average age of the Miami Dolphins is between 25 and 27, making them one of the youngest teams in NFL history.
Oh, in NFL history. All right. Well, it's gonna be tricky. So let's go through this list that you made. You went ahead and took your list and put together a list of coaches you expect to be on the hot seat, and one of them is Jeff Hafley. So you've got one of the youngest teams in the NFL. You've got a team with a new starting quarterback, the Malik Willis, first-time starting quarterback coming in. So he hasn't done anything as a full-time starter ever. Hafley's a first-time head coach. The whole team is young. You think the Dolphins are going to be that trigger happy if this doesn't work out? Do you blow up the whole thing? Because they fired their general manager midseason last year. They waited till the end of the year to fire Mike McDaniel. So you've got a new general manager, a new coach, and a new quarterback. And you think if it doesn't work in 1 year, Miami will be that impatient?
Yeah, I just think they're not done blowing it up.
Okay, so just blow it. But that's re-blowing it up. That's not blowing it up more. It's blowing it up again.
Yeah, I think Hafley to me just seems like a placeholder for what could be the future of where Miami's headed.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about Jeff Hafley. I mean, as far as, what he's going to bring, but nobody does, for a first-time head coach. Like Nathaniel Hackett. Oh, he's a quarterback whisperer. Him and Aaron Rodgers got along great. He goes out and he was terrible.
This is Miami we're talking about. This is one of the largest sports markets in the U.S.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just trying to think of what their timeline is expected to be when your team is young and you got all these guys in new places. Your second one you have on your list, Aaron Glenn, working up from the bottom, 25th ranked roster by ESPN. Aaron Glenn went 3-14 last year. Took a nap during the NFL Combine.
Former NFL cornerback and defensive mindset or defensive guru.
How many interceptions? Is that where you're going? 0.
That'd be a donut.
0 interceptions last year, and he was defensive coordinator for a very good Lions team 2 years ago and before that.
He had Sauce Gardner for half the season. Should have been able to get one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, players have to make plays. I get that, but they just looked
Players got to be put in the right position to make plays sometimes.
I don't disagree with that. I'm 100% with you. Aaron Glenn should be 100% on the hot seat. To be quite honest, I'm surprised that he survived his first year and then his offseason didn't go much better. I honestly thought that the way that the season started last year, I thought Ben Johnson was going to be the coordinator from Detroit that went and fell on his face. There was all that talk preseason. The Bears were upset because people were practicing too hard in joint practices. He had something to say after every practice.
He was taking shots at LaFleur.
He was taking shots all over the place, but he backed it up. And they look good, and he got the best out of Caleb Williams that we've seen so far in the NFL. I do expect them to take a step back this year, but I think that he proved that at least out of the gate he was the right hire, and Aaron Glenn does not feel like that to me at all. This one surprises me a little bit. You have a guy named Dave Canales on here. Does everybody know at home who he coaches?
Dave Canales is the head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, so he's been there for only 2 years, 5-12 in his first year,
13-21 over the past 2 years.
Well, I get that, but you inherit a bad team. I mean, that's why you become a first-time head coach, is because they're looking for a big change. Not everybody comes in like Liam Cohen did last year and goes from 3-14 to 14-3 or whatever they finished at, 13-4. But Dave Canales, I think, has shown that he's able to get more out of Bryce Young at the end of last season, quarterback that he inherited.
Yep, Bryce Young did start to take the steps in the right direction.
Yeah, started to move in the right direction. They went 5-12 in the first season, went 8-9 in the second season. So if it was reversed in the first year, so what do you say, 13 wins over the first 2 seasons? If you do that 8-9 and then 5-12, I think then you look at the hot seat. He didn't do that. He got 3 wins better, which is not a ton, but it's an improvement, especially in the NFL. That's a big leap. If he wins 3 more games this year, then they're going to be 11-6, which is a pretty damn good record for a third-year head coach and a first-time head coach. So I will push back on that being on your list. Commanders coach Dan Quinn is a guy that came in his first year, ended up in the conference championship game, then in his second year goes 5-12. That's a guy that took over, has been a head coach before, lost the job because they couldn't get the big wins, especially the Super Bowl failure against the Patriots 28-3. Dan Quinn taking a huge step back last year. Now, a lot of that was injuries, and that's why he still has a job going into this season, I think.
But what was the big knock on Dan Quinn last year? He rushed Jaden Daniels back. Jaden Daniels then gets hurt again.
Yep.
And you're kicking the can down the road.
I don't disagree with that. He needs to have a great year this year. So hot seat, yeah, with you on that one. Todd Bowles is interesting to me. Todd Bowles, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course. They were really good at the start of last year. We talked about this yesterday. Baker in the middle of the season was in the MVP race. Then his shoulder really started bugging him, and you kind of could see that. And they kind of went the way it did.
And both of his receivers get hurt.
Yep, which it makes it very difficult when you lose weapons. Why do you have Todd Bowles on this list? He's been the head coach of the Buccaneers for 4 seasons, 10-7 2 years ago, 8-9 last year. Not terrible records, and they were tied for the top of their division, which was a bad division. But
Baker Mayfield is the king of covering up bad coaches. He did it with Stefanski. He's doing it with Bowles.
You don't like Stefanski.
I don't hate Stefanski.
Okay.
It's more of, I think Stefanski made bad decisions. He chose the wrong guy, and that's why he's not in Cleveland anymore.
Yeah. Well,
he didn't ride with the right guy, and Baker has been the right guy.
Yeah. I don't think that necessarily that's Stefanski making that choice, but he needed to be louder in that room and going, "This is our guy." But the Cleveland Browns are a mess.
From a roster standpoint, I think the Buccaneers took a major step back, losing a lot of talent.
Yeah, which makes it tough for a coach, but you can't necessarily put all the blame on that. They have the 18th ranked roster in the NFL.
Who would you say were the 3 key players for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Well, I mean, Bucky Irving was really good for the Buccaneers last year. Baker and Mike Evans.
Do you have one of them anymore?
No, you lost Mike Evans.
And I wouldn't even say. I wouldn't even put Bucky in there because you have a defense that was led by Levante David, a 12-year veteran. You also had Jamel Dean, a top 5 corner in the league. He's in Pittsburgh now.
Well, again, the personnel decisions I don't put on the coach, but it
makes
his job a lot harder.
Exactly.
Makes his job a lot harder. Zach Taylor is on your list. This one is interesting. They were the AFC champions after going 10-7 in 2021.
You're welcome, Kenny Pickett.
What's that?
I said, thanks to Kenny Pickett.
thanks to Kenny Pickett, they went 10-7 in 2021.
Have they been competing with?
No, I'm just going through
division since.
Yes, I'm going to go through that list. So then they went 12-4, then back-to-back 9-8 seasons. I know you had some Joe Burrow injuries, and then 6-11 last year. I think that is exactly the blueprint to be on the hot seat. I'm 100% with you on that. I do want to point out this is the Dave Canales thing for the difference between not winning in your first couple years and showing improvement. Zach Taylor, when he took over the Bengals, went 2-14, 4-11, 10-7, 12-14. That's ascension, and he deserved to keep his job through those first 2 years, despite having only 6 wins.
And that's why he's on the hot seat this year.
Totally.
And he wasn't on the hot seat last year.
I 100% agree with you. But when you start trending in the wrong direction. Dallas Cowboys do not like to fire coaches. Jerry Jones keeps guys, it feels like, a lot longer than he should. Jason Garrett was there a very long time. Mike McCarthy was there, it felt like a little longer than he was supposed to. Brian Schottenheimer, you think is on the hot seat in year 2?
It's Jerry Jones.
I understand that.
He expects the world out of his coaching staff.
He does, but he likes a coach that he can control. Brian Schottenheimer even came out and said that he would have stayed with the Cowboys even if he didn't get the head coaching job. And remember what happened with Jim Schwartz in Cleveland? He said, if you don't give me that job, I'm out of here. And then they didn't, and he left. Brian Schottenheimer said the reverse. Now, he ended up getting the head coaching job, so we don't know what he would have taken. But Jerry Jones likes a guy that he has the attention of, that somebody that doesn't talk back, somebody that doesn't do that. And if Brian Schottenheimer is that guy, again, I just have to push back on some of these. You've got Brian Schottenheimer on the hot seat. How bad do you think the Cowboys would have to be for him to get fired?
I think they're just have to be what they've been.
Well, they've been what they've been for a long time.
Middle of the road, and
he does want playoff appearances
in the first.
Well, they were 7-9 last year, and they were not in the postseason. So I think outside of the postseason, you might be right. It's just the history has not gotten that. Matt LaFleur on the hot seat. This has been a really good
biggest hot seat.
And remember, I'm working my way back on the roster. So Cowboys 14th best roster, Bengals 15th. The Packers have the 10th best roster in the NFL according to ESPN. Let's look at Matt LaFleur. So he is very different than the Zach Taylor and the Dave Canales example. He came out of the gates 13-3, 13-3, 13-4. That's 19, 20, 21. 8-9 in 2022, 9-8 in 2023, 11-6 in 2024, and 9-7-1 last year. What do you need from Matt LaFleur this year?
Gotta win in the playoffs, dude.
Need just playoff win?
You gotta get a playoff win.
Okay.
You're 3-6 in the playoffs so far. You have a great regular season career record. You're 76-40. You're winning games. You're getting to the next stage. You gotta win the game. You can't keep losing to Caleb Williams.
I won't disagree with that. Here's your last one on your list, and this is the 4th best roster. You didn't put Jesse Minter on this list, who is the 5th best roster with the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't think he's on the hot seat.
I'm curious then your reasons why Joe Brady is. I know he was an internal promotion, so that does make it a little bit different, and so I can kind of lean that way. But I think if you see a major fallback from either the Bills or the Ravens, these two first-year head coaches could be looking at a very difficult exit interview at the end of this season.
In my lifetime, I've never seen a window for the Buffalo Bills like there is one now. There's never
They went to 4 straight Super Bowls, which is not in your lifetime. So you're correct. So you're correct. But they had one of the biggest windows any team has ever had. Just okay.
Again,
I'm only saying that because you're so stupid young that it frustrates me. Not that you said or did anything wrong.
What you done for me lately?
What's that?
I said, what you done for me lately?
I know.
It's a what you done for me lately league.
I got you.
And it's been 26 years since the Buffalo Bills.
Well, I mean, it's been longer than that because it's been 31 years since they went to 35 years. 30,
Again, well, there you go. This is their window. If they can't do it, they need to pull every string possible to
bringing in a new head coach and a new head coach and a new head coach isn't going to be it. They moved on from Sean McDermott, who has been getting them close, but
I don't necessarily think that this is them moving from head coach to head coach.
Okay.
This is all right. Let me believe in the guy that I believe that can push us over the mountaintop. And if he doesn't, all right, let's go actually do the coaching search.
Baltimore has 2 Super Bowls in your lifetime. You were born in 2001?
Yep.
Okay.
2 Super Bowls in my
So
lifetime.
2 Super Bowls in your lifetime. So they're not in the same spot, but they are in a window where you've got
I think their windows.
as good a quarterback as the best two-way quarterback that we've ever seen, and as good a quarterback as the franchise has ever seen.
The roster moves this offseason shrunk your window.
Shrunk your window. They're still
you have Derrick Henry, yes, but you had the best center in football.
You let him go, which
and he's gone.
We saw what the Seahawks became when they let Max Unger go in favor of Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham did nothing for you, and the Saints had a great center for a very long time. So I can agree with that. So Jesse Minter, you think, has a little bit more room on that?
I think so.
Okay. You said that despite having a terrible roster, that Hafley could be a potential one and done. So my question is for you, why not Mike LaFleur? 29th best roster. The Cardinals have been bad a long time, but they've also shown the ability to move on very quickly. We got the wrong guy. Let's move on. If Mike LaFleur is not the guy in Arizona, is it just that they have too much of an uphill battle in that division and he'll get a little bit more room?
That's it. That's exactly it.
Okay.
Where you're going up against Sean McVay, Mike McDonald, and Clint Kubiak.
Okay. I'm going to give you 3 other.
Sorry, who's the other team in that division now? Shanahan. Sorry.
Yeah, Shanahan. I'm going to give you 3 other names that I think can be on this list, but I'm looking at the clock, and we will take a quick break before we do that. But I've got 3 guys that I'm very surprised you did not have on that list. We will get to those next. Also, we've got your next 2 top 100 players. More NFL on the bonus hour of Happy Hour. This is 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
The biggest.
All right, we're playing a little game here going through your NFL coaches that could be on the hot seat. Casey sent me a list after yesterday's conversation about these first-year head coaches that we think could stumble out of the gate, the other ones that we think should do pretty well based on the rosters that they were given the keys to. But then you threw me your hot seat coaches. So we're looking at coaches we expect to be on the hot seat going into this next year, and there was a few that you left off the list that I thought could either finish the season on the hot seat if things don't go their way, or could be among those coaches that mid-season you just go, let's get out of here. Let's do something different. The first one that I'm going to throw at you, and I don't think this is a mid-season firing, but you've gone now and changed quarterbacks. This will be the third straight year with a different quarterback. I'm curious about Kevin O'Connell, who's supposed to be your quarterback whisperer. They went 14-3 2 years ago, but only 9-8 last year. He started out with going 13-4, then 7-10. And had a great season, but no success in the postseason with Sam Darnold. And last year they tried Carson Wentz along with J.J. McCarthy and Max Brosmer. None of those worked out. Now you've got Kyler Murray. If it doesn't work this year in Minnesota, is 5 years all we get of Kevin O'Connell?
Do we think that Kevin O'Connell or the ownership made the draft pick of J.J. McCarthy?
It's hard to say. But he sat for a year because of the injury, and they decided to move on from it. But you said that part of the trouble with Tampa Bay and the reason Todd Bowles is on this list is because of the roster changes are going to make it very difficult for Tampa Bay to win. Mm-hmm. So having those decisions and going with Sam Darnold, who was supposed to be your backup, I get it that J.J. McCarthy was hurt. But if you have to move on from your guy after every year and you're supposed to be this quarterback whisperer, who makes the decision on getting rid of the head coach? If they decided to keep J.J. McCarthy, why wouldn't they decide to get rid of Kevin O'Connell?
I don't think they wanted to get rid of Sam Darnold. I think the ownership did just get rid of Sam Darnold.
Well, again.
And I think that's, if I'm Kevin...
But if the ownership is impulsive enough to get rid of Sam Darnold, why wouldn't they be impulsive enough to get rid of
But if I'm KOC, then I'm looking at my ownership like, dude, what are you leaving me with?
And the ownership's looking at him going, we ain't leaving you with nothing. Get out of here.
And that's why the manager got fired. And that's why Kevin O'Connell's still there. So
I understand.
It's more of, I think that the people above Kevin O'Connell have made poor decisions time again, and Kevin O'Connell has just had to pick up pieces. I think he's found ways to be serviceable when his team and the management and the roster decisions have not been strong.
If they have a bad season, Bears are going to be good. Packers are going to be good. Lions are going to be good.
Yep.
It's a tough division.
It's a very tough division.
Very tough division. I would not be surprised if Kevin O'Connell were gone at the end of next season.
And I would not be surprised if he had a brand new coaching gig somewhere else then.
100% agree with that, too. There are guys that get fired. Kevin Stefanski is a perfect example where the organization has no idea what they're doing. They drafted 2 quarterbacks in last year's draft. They still have the Deshaun Watson contract. It's Stefanski. I'm looking at my next one on there, and you'll understand where the mess up was. But Stefanski was 2-time coach of the year in Cleveland. Cleveland gets great coaches, gets rid of them, they get their next job and do pretty well. So a guy named Bill Belichick did that. So if we look at this, I think that it's the organization keeps making mistakes, and it makes it very difficult for Kevin O'Connell. So if he ends up getting fired, it might be the best thing for him, but it doesn't mean that the seat's not hot.
Yep. I think if the seat is hot, the seat is only hot because Minnesota is in such a weird limbo period because of their quarterback issues and the roster decisions that they've made.
If your organization gives you a new quarterback every year that you have to deal with, it makes it very hard for you to do your job. It might even just end up being frustration for him. So if Kyler Murray ends up spending more time playing Call of Duty than playing well on the football field, is that Kevin O'Connell's fault? I'm sure it's not, but see you, dude.
I think I understand where you're coming from. I just think I like KOC way too much. And I think that
well, hey, I mean, I get that.
Minnesota doesn't fire their GM for a reason.
Again, new GM, and if they don't get along, the quarterback or the head coach and general manager don't get
100%.
along, there you go. So a lot of reasons why he could be on there. He's a handsome fella, and you like him. I get that you don't put him on your list. How about Shane Steichen? 9-8 in his first year, 8-9, 8-9. That is not a great division. You saw Liam Cohen take over a very bad Jacksonville team record-wise and turn them into a very good team very quickly.
Duval.
You have Robert Saleh coming in as the new Titans head coach. The Texans have been a good team if C.J. Stroud can figure it out. You might end up at the bottom of that division, and you can only be considered the great football mind for so long without having results. So I think if Shane Steichen has a bad year, not Stefanski Steichen was the error that I had earlier, I think Shane Steichen could be another guy on that list. What's your argument against Shane Steichen?
I don't think I have one.
Okay, well there you go.
I think I might just. I think I'm with you there.
And the other one, where there's smoke, there's fire, and we've seen a guy win a Super Bowl there and be fired shortly after. It was 3 seasons after, not 2. Nick Sirianni is just one of those guys where Philadelphia seems to have so much drama, and if you're running off players like A.J. Brown and they're not happy there, if you have another season where you have a wild card loss, it would be the 4th wild card loss in the Sirianni era. He has lost in the divisional round once. He's won a Super Bowl. It's a they make it to the playoffs, but if you keep losing early, especially in the wild card round, or you miss the postseason this year, Nick Sirianni would be my last one.
I don't hate that.
Okay.
But I'm also, you won a Super Bowl.
I get it. So did Doug Peterson. And he was out 3 years later. I mean, they went 4-11 that year, but then you're out. You don't get many chances in Philadelphia. The expectations are extremely high. The organization has stability, and Nick Sirianni's a weird dude.
I think Doug Peterson, I don't think anyone expected him to make a Super Bowl. I don't think anyone expected that roster to go as far as they did. But they did. And where does this roster rank in terms of talent?
They're the number 2 roster in talent. So that, again, if he has a bad season, don't be surprised if they go on there. I mean, a number 2 roster lost. The roster's not entirely different than it was last year. They lost in the wild card round. You can't do that with the second best roster in the NFL.
I think the indictments are moving up the chain for Philadelphia. Yeah. Okay. You start with moving pieces in the roster. Then you go after the quarterback. Then you go after the coach. Then you see if the GM needs to get moved.
Ooh, I hate to do this.
I don't think Jalen Hurts.
Let's do this very quickly. We've got other things to discuss. Your number 76 player on the NFL Top 100, J.C. Horn. Where did you have J.C. Horn on this list?
I had him a little bit higher up on the list, but I had him as a top 10 corner.
37 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 8 passes defensed,
62
and
is where I had J.C. Horn.
And 5 interceptions, and I'm guessing you had Budda Baker exactly at number 75 because you've already told me that you did. 16 games, 120 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, half a sack, 5 pass defense, and 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery for Budda Baker. That guy's awesome. He's fun to watch.
Bring me my money.
I'm giving you money on this.
I'm just proud of myself. I
Broken
nailed that
clock
right
is right. Congratulations to you. All right, we will get into the normal shenanigans of Happy Hour. Sorry for going a little late here, folks. We will do that next. It is Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
What do parents?
from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some NBA free agency news for you. As we have the day off from World Cup matches, the Detroit Pistons are trading Karis LeVert and 2 second-round picks to the Milwaukee Bucks for Taurean Prince and Gary Harris. The Memphis Grizzlies are acquiring D'Angelo Russell, a future second-round pick, and a future second-round pick swap from the Washington Wizards. And as a part of a 6-team deal, not including your Portland Trailblazers, the Dallas Mavericks are sending free agent forward Chris Middleton to the Washington Wizards. Middleton will sign a 3-year, $17.6 million deal to rejoin Washington. Over to Wimbledon, as both the men and women's singles semifinal bracket is officially set. Tomorrow at 5:30 a.m., Karolina Muchova and betting favorite Coco Gauff will go head-to-head. Later in the morning, Marta Kotsiuk and Linda Noskova will face off. And over in the men's bracket, with matches starting on Friday, Novak Djokovic will go up against defending champion Jannik Sinner, as Arthur Ferry and Alexander Zverev will come out of the other side of the semifinal bracket. Some MLB news for you, as potential Hall of Fame pitcher and oldest active player in the MLB, Justin Verlander, announced that he will retire after the 2026 season. Verlander, at age 43, is a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, winning the AL MVP back in 2011. And finally, over to the WNBA, as your Portland Fire are back in action tomorrow, taking on the Las Vegas Aces inside the Moda. Tip-off set for 7 p.m. as you can catch all of tomorrow's coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
This is the Fan.
Happy Video Game Day, all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in on our little happy hour. We appreciate you listening. Appreciate it if you listen to the bonus hour as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, here's a hand gesture just for you. You're welcome. If you're on YouTube, feel free to hit us up on the chat. If you're listening on the radio through 105.1 FM, 1080 AM, online at 1051thefan.com, odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you ask your smart speaker, can you be on the hot seat in July? Yeah, you can. And this is what you got. Use the fan text line. It's 503-2GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the text. Use the chat to share your thoughts, ask questions, solicit advice, or answer me this, dear listeners. What's the best sports video game? I mean, come on. I know, Lowercase, that you and I came from different eras, but it's National Video Games Day. What was your favorite, or what is your favorite sports video game?
God, all I play is sports video games, so this is a really tough one for me.
Well, see, I get to go all the way back and through the nostalgia with this one. So for me, some of my favorite when I was a kid, ice hockey, Blades of Steel, the original Tecmo Bowl, all got played in rotation. Pro wrestling on the NES was great. But when Tecmo Super Bowl came out, man, that was it. You could play on the seasons. You could pick as many teams as you wanted to control. 3 brothers. We'd usually each pick an AFC and an NFC team. And then it'd be like, Paul, get down here. You got to play me. And then you'd play those games head-to-head. So it was perfect. Not only as good a video game as it was for, I think, most people, for a household with 4 boys, we played so many seasons of that. And then your 2 teams got to play each other, and you put it on autoplay and just see who wins, and you get all nervous because you're like, I'm doing a lot better with the Giants than I am with the Bengals. I hope that. And so you would have that. That game was awesome. The only one that comes close to it that I can think of in my head, there was a stretch on the Sega Genesis of NHL hockey. 94, 95, maybe 96. Those games got played an absolute ton in my house. That was the same thing. You could play the seasons, do the whole thing. In one of the versions, you could change all the teams, all the players' names. So, man, watch out for the Detroit Red Wings when they showed up with Phil McCracken playing center, and IP Freely playing on the wing. I'm trying to think of the ones that I can actually say on air. Seymour Butts was out there playing goalie. You had the whole team. There's a lot that I cannot say on it, but we adjust our whole team.
Few
to
guys
that.
named Hugh.
Oh yeah, a couple guys named Hugh. I think we'd say Jass. I think we can say Jass on there. Jasse. He was I think he might have been the goalie. Now that I think about it, I mean, that's pretty obvious that he would have played goalie. But that game was really fun too because you could play with two players on the ice, and one-timers. Watch out! Got your brother playing one wing and you're playing the other, and boom, pass it across. The one-timer. That was another great one. And then my final one. WWF, I think it was still WWF at the time, for the GameCube. They had a WrestleMania game, and not only could you change all of the characters' names, but you could change their look. And so we would switch up the tag team. So instead of having whatever the wrestlers' names were, I had David Letterman and Jay Leno, and you could go through all the faces and make them look enough alike that you could do it. But Jay Leno and David Letterman versus Carrot Top and Gallagher. I mean, we got some pretty good ones on there, but I think we went through the entire game and there was not an original wrestler actually fighting on that, so it was just the stupidest matchups we could think of. Siegfried and Roy were out there. I mean, just the whole thing was a blast. But those, I think, are my hit list per system.
I've got a bunch. Because
who doesn't? I just gave you a bunch. Here's my only problem with today's era is when you look at, let's take Madden for example. I don't know how much of a Madden fan you are.
Big fan.
Are you just a Madden fan, or is it like, you got to play Madden 90 or like 90? Look how old
Depends.
I am. Is it Madden 24 much better than 2026?
So sometimes I'll go through and create players and do the NFL Superstar in the original GameCube because the ground attack minicamp game is really only good towards a certain Madden.
Yeah.
When you're playing all the minicamp drills, it's really good and the nostalgic from about 2000.
Yeah, there's
maybe 3 when Marshall Faulk was on the cover.
There was a PlayStation college football game that I really liked. I remember that. But
that was real good.
You make your own player and then have him run through the.
I believe Kellen Moore's on the cover of that one.
Ooh, I'm not sure which year I played it, but there was a college football one that I played. Kellen Moore was definitely not on the cover of the one that I played, but it's been a while since I did.
Yeah, there's again NCAA football. That was a big one. Again, that making its comeback is huge.
Yep.
Obviously, there's 2K, there's Madden. But some of the more absurd ones.
Yeah. Let's hear the absurd ones. You got some. Did you ever play NBA Jam or Double Dribble?
I did play NBA Jam. NFL Blitz was more of my alley.
There
was also NFL Rush with Sean Merriman on the cover. You
never played NES. Have you ever gone back and played any?
I played a few, but
you ever played Baseball Simulator 3000? I think
no,
or 1000. Oh,
there was
so many good ones.
There's Backyard Baseball, which I still play to this day, which is. Again, if you got Pablo Sanchez on the roster.
Oh, yeah, is that the guy?
It's over.
Watch out.
And one of my favorite games of all time, SSX Tricky. It's a snowboarding game.
Oh, don't even get started on Tony Hawk and how fun that was.
Again, the launch of Tony Hawk games that started just all the ATV games. Again, I think it was called ATV Free Ride. There's a game that you could just do a bunch of tricks on ATVs, play that and some SSX Tricky.
Yeah,
the
Nintendo 64 had 1080 snowboarding. I watched the X Games this year, and they're doing like 5400s, and you're just like, why on earth was the 1080 the most you could imagine back then? It's like the guys,
that one too.
The guys doing tricks now do 3 times, 4 times what they were doing on that video game in real life. So the evolution of snowboarding surpassed video games by 5-fold. It's the whole thing. It's bananas. God, so many good video games.
I think the best video games are sports ones.
I saw that. Of course.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
But Mario and Sonic pretty good. But Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, just as good as. I didn't even get into golf games.
I didn't even get into any Tiger Woods PGA Tour.
First, I only played Tiger Woods one time. My buddy got it, I think, for the PlayStation. He's like, "Oh, you got to try this. This game is so sweet."
The double disc.
I had 3 hole-in-ones on the front 9, and he quit. I never played it again. I go, man, the controller's buzzing. And something good must have happened. He's like, yeah, that's when you hit a good shot in the hole on like the second or third hole. And then I get to another one, and then I got an ace on our par 4, and he's. And
so when I used to.
Oh, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You ever play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
Also, all of the UFC games are fantastic.
I don't know if I'll buy that.
Again,
there's too many.
If you like WWE, you will love the UFC games.
Can I tell you my Mike Tyson Punch-Out story? Have you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the original?
I have not played it. I've seen people play it, though.
Okay. I beat Mike Tyson once. Played it a ton as a kid. It was one of those games. It was a good game, but not a great game when you have, again, 3 brothers. Frank dominated. He used to just be able to roll through the thing, beat up Tyson, and just be like, there's a control. But it'd take him like an hour and a half, and everybody else would sit there and get bored. It's fun to watch him. Like, oh, you're really good. But then your skills don't develop and whatever, and he stays good because he goes up there and sharpens his skills. But it was one of those single-player games that you go, like the original Mario Brothers, he would just play through all the levels. You'd sit there and watch him. Then he goes, Luigi's turn, and you're just like, I don't want to play anymore. So I'm like 21, and me and a couple buddies are going out. We pulled the NES out, dusted it all off, figured out how to get the game cartridge actually to play, and I start playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out while I'm waiting for everybody to show up. And one by one, people keep showing up, and I am cruising my way through all of the fighters. I had not played it in years. I get to Tyson, I beat him, and they're like, oh, you must have beat him all the time. You're kidding. I'm like, actually, no, that's the only time I've ever beat him. And I had this big audience around me. And then I tried it years later and just couldn't even pass Bulbul. Like it was just in the moment, needed the right momentum, and beat Tyson once in my life. We're way late. Let's do some In Case You Missed It, shall we?
Let's do it.
In case you missed it, speculation is swirling that several players on the surprising Norway national team are battling illness ahead of their massive World Cup quarterfinal against England this Saturday. Team officials are suggesting it's due to the travel schedule, which is just code for Vikings may look tough, but their giant pasty bodies aren't built to go 6 weeks without fermented herring. So they just need to... Even if they are sick, I wouldn't count out Norway. Who sounds more dangerous to you, Erling Haaland or Hurling Haaland? I'd watch out for that if I were you. And I'm allowed to make that joke because my name also rhymes with the word for vomit. So I can say that. That's okay. No? I was Luke Puke my entire childhood. I can't make that joke and get at least a chuckle. Unbelievable. In case you missed it, the Egyptian Football Association blasted officiating in their crushing 3-2 World Cup loss to Argentina, suggesting external factors and their desire to keep Lionel Messi in the tournament influenced the referees. I'm no expert, but it sure felt like Egypt probably should have tried to use some of their internal factors to try to stop Argentina from scoring 3 damn goals in 11 damn minutes. Maybe just do that. Just a suggestion for the Egyptian Football Association. If you want the neutral fans on your side next time, you need a gimmick. Everybody is rooting for Norway because they did that stupid Viking roast celebration in the stands. Come on, Egypt. The branding is right there for the 2030 World Cup. I fully expect synchronized human pyramids on the pitch. That's what we need. If you want people to love you and root for you, start stacking bodies. Let's go. In case you missed it, reports say that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's relationship was non-existent before the 76ers trade. Big deal. Kobe and Shaq hated each other. Jordan and Pippen weren't close. And despite multiple documented murder attempts, Bert and Ernie are still a dominant duo. Just figure it out, boys. Come on. If you want to win... In case you missed it, the Royals' defense completely melted down on a Carson Bench infield chopper, committing 3 throwing errors on a single play that resulted in a wildly embarrassing Little League home run for the Mets. Hey, it only took 3 throwing errors in one play by the Royals, but the Mets finally have their first highlight of the season. Congratulations! Can I be honest, after that Country Roads Matt Olson home run highlight that you played yesterday, now all I want is the organist to jump in and add flavor to all my highlights. Only question is, how many throwing errors do you have to have before you start playing Benny Hill? Like, what do you do? And finally, in case you missed it, a pair of baby raccoons interrupted Tuesday night's Dodgers-Rockies game by roaming the outfield wall pattern, capturing the hearts of baseball fans. Unfortunately, the Dodgers organist didn't have time to learn Rocky Raccoon before a 109-mile-an-hour line drive off the bat of Max Muncy absolutely vaporized one of the tiny trash pandas. So it was great. It was cute. and then he died in the bloodiest way fashion. Thank you to our studio audience. We're going to do the subtext at 2:30. We'll listen to some press conference audio and see if we can figure out what it means. But we need to look into the biggest story of the day. The Mariners' tough one last night. Ohtani does something that almost nobody does. 5th fastest to what? And the most what? What is going on? And Jackson Chourio just decided to hit left-handed even though he doesn't hit left-handed and nearly hit it out of the ballpark. What is going on in baseball? All of that and more in the Daily Buzz. We do it next on Happy Hour. This is 105.1 The Fan. All right, well, Mariners lose in extra innings. It's disappointing. Marlins are a really good baseball team, which stinks because they're playing against the Mariners right now. But the Marlins had a 4-0 lead. The Mariners come all the way back, take a 1-run lead going into the 8th, lose it, go into extra innings, and then lose in the 10th. Barf.
The Buzz.
More importantly, Shohei Ohtani is now the 5th fastest player in Major League Baseball history to reach the 300 home run mark. The only 4 players ahead of him, let's just say this. It took him 1,101 games in just a few games shy of that. Juan Gonzalez did it in 1,093. Ryan Howard, 1,091. Ralph Kiner in 1,086. And a guy named Aaron Judge did it in just 953 games. Ohtani, also the only one on that list to make any pitching appearances. He has appeared in 114 games. 95 of those games he hit and pitched in those games, so something to behold. How about this also? If you want to compare him to Babe Ruth made it to his 300th home run, and at the time, in his career, Babe Ruth hit 714 home runs and got to 501 strikeouts. In just the first few years, Ohtani already has 300 home runs and 765 strikeouts as a pitcher. That's pretty good. Let's see. Ohtani's 19 home runs, of Ohtani's 300 home runs, 19 have come in games where he has pitched, including 2 leadoff home runs as a pitcher. This guy is something else. What else do we got here? His exit velocity on his home run, how about 112.2 miles an hour? He has hit at least 77 of his 300 home runs at 112 miles an hour or more. That's the second most in Major League Baseball since the start of 2018 to only Aaron Judge, who has hit 81. Shohei Ohtani is an absolute freak, and he should continue to be admired. Just realize that you're watching one of the greats play baseball right now. Sit back and enjoy.
The Buzz.
All right, so there was a non-competitive game last night. You had the Cardinals playing against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers are housing the Cardinals. Cardinals decide to bring in a position player to throw eephus pitches. Jackson Chourio decides to go up and hit left-handed just to get the at-bat over. What does he do? Clubs a 40-some-mile-an-hour pitch, 360 feet. It goes out to left center. The center fielder able to get under it and corral it, nearly warning track power, swinging from the wrong side of the plate. MLB players, very, very good at baseball, and some of the things that they can do, you wonder why the Savannah Bananas are so good, is because baseball players, takes quite a bit of talent to get to the upper levels of baseball.
Can we talk about the top 1% or the 0.01% that makes up NBA players?
Yes.
With baseball, it hits a whole lot more.
Well, it certainly does, and there is a lot more levels of it, and baseball is certainly the razor's edge. That's when you see guys like Shohei Ohtani are that much better than everybody else at 2 positions. It is mind-blowing.
The Buzz.
Ryan O'Hearn had a pretty good day. 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Sets a Pirates record. I keep wanting the Pirates to just go on a little bit of run because they are a ton of fun to watch. We talked about it yesterday. Connor Griffin can be out for at least a month, but their rookie shortstop has been playing really well. Of course, Paul Skeens, we mentioned earlier in the show, will not be making an all-star appearance.
The Buzz.
Quite the day for the Kansas City Royals. Jack Caglione is going to be in the home run derby. Tyler Tolbert has matched a major league record by reaching base on 12 consecutive at-bats, which is recording a hit. Not just reaching base, recording a hit in 12 consecutive at-bats. So congratulations to Tolbert. And then, of course, they gave up an inside-the-park infield base hit, Little League style, by just chucking the ball around the yard. So if you wonder why I have all this hitting and don't have any of the wins that should go with it, it's because their defense is absolutely terrible.
The Buzz.
Before we get out of baseball, I want to congratulate your New York Yankees. They have made history. They are just a team to be admired. You have, all these injuries and you have these guys trying to figure it out, but you're still going out and setting records. I wanted to make jokes about this, but hey, when you make history, there's no reason to make jokes. Congratulations. The Yankees are the first team in Major League history to strike out 17 times at the plate in consecutive games. Congratulations. White Sox are looking pretty interesting, aren't they?
That's the sound of the Yankee bats these days.
Yes, it is. Paul Goldschmidt on an 0-for-30 run right now, which is fantastic. I'm looking through all of these moves in the NBA right now, deciding which one is actually worth hitting on this. And I will tell you, I feel like this is how other team looks at any transaction the Blazers make, except for the Ja Morant one. You might not like it, but looking at moves like Chris Middleton going back to the Wizards, or Karis LeVert going to the Bucks, or Quentin Post going to the Grizzlies, and all of these are Giannis. Ja Morant, I think, got people's attention. Is it going to be a good move in the long run? I have genuinely no idea, but I love the fact that they made a move that is a big swing. So say what you want about the offseason. I think most of the NBA is fairly uninteresting. I think the Blazers are among that if you're not in Portland. Nothing wrong with being a Blazers fan in Portland, but I don't think there's a whole lot of them in Charlotte going, oh man, our offseason was wild, but look at what's going on in Portland. I don't think that happens very often. This year, a lot of talent left Charlotte and some talent came into Portland. So at least we've got that going for us. I don't know if that'll help you sleep at night. But again, looking at the transactions today, I'm like, meh. So we move on.
The Buzz.
Adam Vinatieri being inducted into the Colts Ring of Honor. He's already going into the Hall of Fame, so congratulations to him. And we'll wrap it up with Charles Barkley was not able to attend the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding. Casey, did you happen to catch why that Charles Barkley was not able to make the wedding? He'd rather play golf. I absolutely love that. That is the perfect excuse to get out of any wedding, and that should be, if you get invited to a wedding of somebody that is not directly related to you on your immediate family, go play golf. That is my recommendation. With that, let's walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see what we missed. If you needed a reason to love Charles Barkley more, there it is.
God, he's good.
The best.
This sports update is brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for a DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today, online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. Well, the Tour de France is underway.
Oh! We didn't list that in our great things going on this weekend. How did we miss that?
Explain to me the Tour de France.
It's a bicycle race. Bicycle.
How does the points work? How does the scoring work? I have no idea how the Tour de France works. When I was born, the height of the Lance Armstrong controversy was at the forefront.
Well, here's what I'll tell you that I learned. I read the book Cycle of Lies about Lance Armstrong and how he achieved greatness in that. And this goes all the way back to the original history of cycling. Find a drug they cannot test you for, take it in as large of amounts as you possibly can without dying, and for as long as they cannot trace that drug, win as many titles as you can, deny, and that's how you win. I think the yellow jersey, and I'm sure there's probably some sort of trophy. But that's what I learned. They kind of go through all the cheating that existed well before Lance Armstrong, and he wasn't the first one to do the blood doping. He just did it better than anybody else, and that's how he won 7.
And what do the stages mean?
Oh, I don't know any of that. But what I know is you just take all of the cheating methods that are available to you that you will not get caught for, and that's how you win.
Well, I got a little homework for us. Let's do our best job of trying to make sense of how the scoring and the rankings.
No, I'm trying to make sense of the World Cup. I'm trying to make more sense of Wimbledon right now. You cannot put a third thing on my plate. We're talking NFL this early in the season for a reason. No, I will not. You cannot make me try to understand the Tour de France. How dare you?
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for Seahawks. Let's listen in.
What was it like to see that performance from Ryan?
I think it was kind of selfish, to be honest. Everybody else was getting on, and home runs are rally killers. You hit a 3-run home run or a grand slam, and it's just like, what now? There's nobody on, nobody can drive him in. So, good for him, I guess. But no.
That was Paul Skeens teasing his fellow teammate, I should say, Ryan O'Hearn, who had a great 3-home run, 10 RBI performance. But there's Skeens on the mic going, well, yeah, home runs are rally killers. Then there's no one to score you. Now you've cleared the bases. Now there's no base runners on.
I mean, what I'm hearing there is this is a team that likes each other. They're having fun. The Pirates are a team that is really easy to root for. The NL has better teams, it feels like, than the American League if you look at their head-to-head record. And I don't know who's going to come out of it. Milwaukee seems to be a really good team. I think the Braves are good. The Marlins have been on an absolute tear. But if you come back in the second half and the Pirates catch fire, I can jump on that little bandwagon. They look like a ton of fun. And in that clip, I hear a team that sounds like they're having fun, genuinely like each other. Paul Skeens is everything that you would want from a star player too. I mean, the sense of humor only makes it that much better, but a guy goes out and can, pitch in the big moments, has been really consistent for it, and with all the hype around him. I mean, love seeing a guy deliver on the hype.
I want to speak a little bit about the situation in Minnesota with Rush and Shohei. Everybody kind of saw it when they go down, and we got to go down, and look at me and you down there. We just being nosy.
Wait, what y'all doing down there?
I was really just kind of seeing how this is going to play out. What was possibly going to be said.
I think it's a good growing moment for both guys. Sho's not always going to be able to throw to Will. And this is one of those moments where it was like, hey, sometimes Sho wants to throw a pitch that maybe isn't the best pitch to throw. You learn how to deal with that the more you've been in those types of situations.
What I really enjoyed was like how Rush later on took accountability. He knows that he has a lot on his plate.
You're the catcher for a staff that's first in baseball in a lot of categories. So, that's a lot on your plate, and he's done an amazing job handling it.
He'll just keep learning.
Not one of us knew how to handle that situation at that stage.
No.
How many times were you peeking around the corner and I was breaking a bat down in the tunnel or something, Which
I love, by the way. I love.
That was Mookie Betts and Max Muncy. If you remember a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago at this time, Dalton Rushing and Shohei had an interaction that kind of bled into the dugout a little bit, and they pulled each other aside and had a conversation about it. But that was Mookie Betts and Max Muncy kind of breaking down that there was no blood about the situation. And I do love that, because part of me goes, it would kill to be a young player just joining this locker room of veterans and being able to develop in that way. But part of me also goes, God, do these guys like Dalton Rushing?
Well, professional sports in general are the most competitive people that you've ever met, all trying to, find the few opportunities that are available to become a star. Now, not every single person has that drive to be the best player out there. Not everybody has the Mamba mentality or that killer instinct to go out there, but very often the best guys do. And then you have a combination of that and guys that just have this immense talent. Shohei Ohtani has a combination of the determination, the will, the talent, the arm, the bat, the wheels, the size.
He's got it all.
All of the things. And it's not very often that these guys, whether it's talent or drive, that you run into a guy that has more of both than you do if you're playing Major League Baseball. Would you say 1.1% of the best basketball players in the world are playing up there?
Yeah,
it's
0.01%.
0.01% of Major League Baseball players get an opportunity to get on these rosters. It's funny because both clips that you played show that you have to have some camaraderie and a sense of humor to get through all of this. Somebody on the team needs to break the tension. It's something that you absolutely have to have, I think, to get through a season where you play 162 games and travel God knows how many miles to do so. But yeah, Shohei Ohtani in the moment, I mean, they were arguing over a pitch challenge where Rushing shook off a challenge that Ohtani made, which you can't do. They challenged it. Of course, Ohtani is right. But it's these moments that you see in baseball that makes it one of the more fun things to me. defensive highlights in baseball I could watch for hours. Baseball bloopers you can watch for hours. I know everybody loves the long ball and watching home runs. Highlights of home runs might be the dullest part of baseball because they all look pretty much the same.
100%.
But you give me a good bat flip, I can watch all of those.
Give me a guy legging out an inside the park home run.
But one of the other things that I love about watching baseball throughout the summer is you get those little interactions that happen throughout, all these little subtle things that happen between teammates, between opponents, between the media and the baseball players. There's just so much game time. There's downtime. There's all of this. So it ends up, a day at the ballpark can be one of those things where you can see something you've never seen before or see exactly what you expect and have just a great a time. And it just shows that the Dodgers have kind of figured out a winning formula, which is a combination of steely determination, exceptional talent, and figuring out how to combine all these combination of personalities and make it work. And I think that's a good example of that.
You can't even think about or can't even fathom how much pressure on him. Let's not forget, listen, Sean McDermott was a very good head coach. This was a very good football team for a long, long time. They fired him and said, that's not good enough. So the ownership is telling you right now, what we did in the past is not good enough. 12-5 and not getting to the Super Bowl is not good enough. So I don't know if there is a head coach in an organization under as much pressure for the right reasons than Joe Brady and the Buffalo Bills, because we all know good is not good enough. He's got to be great. He's got to get this team to a Super Bowl. And fortunately, I think the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens are in the same situation. It doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. They can go 17-0. Nobody cares. What are you going to do once the playoff starts? Can your best players, can Josh Allen, can these guys make those plays? Can Joe Brady get this team over the hump? Because we saw what Sean McDermott did. Now, Joe Brady, it's your turn, and greatness is expected.
That was Booger McFarland breaking down kind of the conversation that we had earlier in the show, which was, well, there's a lot of coaches that are on the hot seat right now, and the two most important, I left them off my list, but Jesse Minter and Joe Brady.
Well, you had Joe Brady. You didn't have Jesse Minter. But yeah, I think they're both in the exact same situation, which is you've got MVPs playing quarterback. You've got guys that have been to the postseason again and again.
Can you get your guys over the hump?
The Super Bowl is such a difficult championship to win because you don't get 7 games. You don't get 3 games. You don't get 5 game series. You get one shot. You go out and you have those games and you get in those moments, and the difference in accolades and praise and continuity that you get from winning those, the fracture that you get from losing those games, from losing early in the playoffs often, what it does to your team, you can walk away that. Losing a Super Bowl is a real thing that really crushes teams. I mean, I always go back to the Seahawks. They win one, they make it right back and go to another one. They lose that one, within 5 years, everybody on the team hates each other and is looking to go somewhere else. What happens if they win that second Super Bowl? How different is the result of that? I mean, you see teams win a Super Bowl and crumble, but the culture and everything that you have to build, and sometimes it hinges on a guy coming out and pulling out the chains for a measurement. I know we have better ways to do it now. Is it a catch? Is it not a catch on the sideline? So many things that are completely out of your control. You can draw up the perfect play, and if it's not executed perfectly, or if the craziest things happen.
Or if a penalty isn't called, if we want to go back to the Saints.
But that's the difference between Sean McDermott having a job and not having a job. You had Josh Allen playing on a broken ankle last year. No, was it a broken ankle? What was he? He had some injury. I know Bo Nix had the broken ankle. Maybe they both did. Or broken foot. I think it was his foot. But either way, he's playing on a broken foot through the postseason. He ends up having the worst postseason game that he's ever had, and now your head coach is fired. I mean, it is just such a game of these minute moments, and that's why we all sit at home. And some of us have a fistful of tickets betting what's going to happen. Some of us have, all of your fandom built into it. Some people have tattoo bets on their fantasy football game, because at some point in the game, almost every time, you're going to have one of those moments that it all hinges on, and that's what football gives you. And Joe Brady has put himself in direct firing line of going, you have one of the 5 most talented teams. Jesse Minter has put himself in the position of having one of the 5 most talented teams, and now you get to go be a head coach for the first time. There's your MVP quarterback. Here's your top 5 roster. Go win it for us. Nobody else has been able to do it. The guy that we had for 18 years and won us a Super Bowl, he's out. Our guy that we had here for the last 5 years and took us right to the edge against the Chiefs, against the Broncos, and couldn't get it done. He's gone. It's your turn now. Good luck. So whether it's a hot seat or not, there's a lot of pressure on both of those guys, and it'll be fun to watch to see what happens. That's why we start talking about it in July.
I cannot wait for football season.
Let's go. All right, we'll do one more for the road, send you on your way, wrap up happy hour. You are listening to 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
The new
One more for the road. Binary Brewing and The Fan have teamed up for the Only Fan IPA, available for a limited time. Taste The Fan with Binary Brewing's signature West Coast IPA. Go to Binary Brewing's Beaverton location and ask them about their Only Fan. So good. Only The Fan and Binary Brewing can pull it off. If you missed anything from the show, podcast is at 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app. You can go rewatch on YouTube. Go and check it out. Casey, what did we miss from the text line and YouTube chats we need to address?
Oh, just a whole lot of love for our video game conversation.
Oh, I mean,
NBA Jam,
come on,
Baseball Stars NES, Triple Play Baseball, MVP 06 NCAA Baseball. You had Kelly Slater Pro Surfer.
I need to go and track down the old systems that I have. I have an Atari that I need to find a adapter to hook to a modern TV. I've got an NES somewhere. Somewhere I got to find a Genesis. It's all too
I'm going to go home
good.
and play me some Tiger Woods PGA Tour on
there you
after
go.
this.
Just 62 days, 14 hours, 25 minutes, and 30 seconds to the NFL kickoff. Seahawks, Patriots, Wednesday night. Let's go. I started by saying that I wish I cared more about the Hall of Fame. I wish I cared more about all-star games in general, but I do not. Another thing that I always try to have some interest in award shows. I like movies. I like TV, but I never watch enough to care about the Emmys. I'd like to go back and be like, oh, that's an Emmy Award-winning show. I should go and watch it. But then you get people that are just cynics and just go, the Emmys aren't any good. Well, they're coming up, and an odd choice for host. Did you see who's going to host?
The Emmys?
The Emmys.
Who's got a popular show right now?
That is not the way.
Steve Martin?
Law & Order Special Victims Unit star Mariska Hargitay. She has played Olivia Benson for 27 years on SVU. I don't know that she's hosted anything. She's done more than 28 seasons, 600 episodes of SVU, and she will be hosting the Emmys. I don't know if that's a good choice or not. I will wish her the best of luck at it, but
I like me some Mariska Hargitay.
I have no problem with Mariska Hargitay. I just don't recognize her.
But I don't think anyone knows what her personality outside of the show is.
I mean, I know that she's a Knicks fan, or pretends to be a Knicks fan, or wanted to get free tickets and talk somebody in that she was a Knicks fan. But she's lived in New York, I assume, that whole time, or bi-coastal.
Well, that's where they film, so that makes sense.
So there you go. Do you have a favorite TV show of this year?
Of this year? No.
Okay. Yeah. See, I like shows, but I couldn't tell you. I could, even if I watch something, I'm like, I enjoyed it.
Oh, wait,
does it
never
make
mind.
It good?
Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Game of Thrones show.
Oh, all right.
Really good.
How many spinoffs do they have for that stinking series?
I believe there's 2 now. There's House of Dragon, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is in the same realm.
All right. Well, big thank you to everybody that listened. Thank you, Casey Smith. Thank you, of course, Isaac Ropp. And thanks for nothing, Will Ferrell. We are all done for now. Bye-bye.